and the battle between Renaria and Allison and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. What happened yesterday during the WNBA game between the Fever and the Chicago Sky? Analogy. It's Angel Reese, it's Monica McNutt, it's Stephen A. Smith. They're not handling Caitlin Clark like she's a prized possession.
Jason Whitlock just dropped a truth bomb on Angel Reese. He's saying she's using Caitlin Clark's name for clout. Is Reese really the victim here, or is she just trying to stay in the spotlight? Let's get into it. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. You know what's crazier? This isn't just about two players anymore. It's about the whole game of women's basketball and how fame can mess with everything. Whitlock's not holding back. He's calling out Reese for playing the victim card and saying her complaints about Clark's fans are just hot air. Imagine this. Reese is out there talking about harassment and stuff, but Whitlock's like, nah, you're just trying to stay relevant. That's some serious accusation, right? And you know what? It's got people talking. Is this the real deal, or is Reese just stirring up drama? We're about to unpack this whole mess and figure out what's really going on in the world of women's basketball. Now, let's talk about what Reese is actually saying. Death threats? AI-generated naked pictures? It's like we're in some twisted sci-fi movie. But is this really happening, or is Reese playing us all?
And the battle between Renaria and Allison, the NBA season might be over, but women's basketball is just getting started with young stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves. And people are piggybacking this battle to make all their points about Black Lives Matter and feminism.
Angel Reese just dropped a bombshell that's got everyone talking. She's claiming that Caitlin Clark's fans are taking things way too far. We're not just talking about mean comments on social media. Reese says she's dealing with death threats and some seriously messed up AI-generated pictures. Imagine this. Reese is out there, living her best life, playing ball and making waves. Then suddenly, she's got people following her home and sending naked AI pics to her family. That's not just crossing a line, it's blasting right past it at full speed. But here's where it gets tricky. Reese is pointing the finger straight at Caitlin Clark's fans. She's saying all this drama is coming from them. Is this really the dark side of women's basketball rivalry, or is there more to the story? Reese didn't hold back when she spilled the tea on a podcast. She said, "I'm talking about people have come down to my address, follow me home. People have made AI pictures of me like naked, literally." That's some serious stuff. It's not just trash talk anymore. It's crossing into dangerous territory. You know what's wild? This isn't just about Reese and Clark anymore. It's shining a light on how crazy fan engagement has gotten in women's basketball. We're seeing the ugly side of fame, and it's not pretty. Think about it. These players are out there giving their all on the court, and now they've got to deal with this kind of harassment off the court too? It's like they can't escape the pressure, even when they're at home with their families. And it's not just Reese. This is becoming a big problem in sports, especially for female athletes. They're getting hit with all kinds of inappropriate stuff online. It's like the price of fame is getting higher and higher, and the players are the ones paying for it.
And Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. What happened yesterday during the WNBA game between the Fever and the Chicago Sky? Of the feud between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. It's their second meeting. That's Caitlin Clark, that's former Heisman Trophy winner Matt Leinart, that's me.
So here's the million-dollar question. Is this really all coming from Clark's fans? Or is there something else going on here? Reese seems pretty convinced, but you've got to wonder if there's more to the story. Either way, it's clear that online harassment in sports is getting out of control. We're seeing players deal with stuff that goes way beyond just trash talk or rivalry. It's making us all think about what these athletes really have to put up with behind the scenes. Just when you thought you had this situation figured out, Jason Whitlock steps up to the plate. He's not buying Reese's story one bit. What if all this drama is more about attention than actual harassment? Whitlock's coming in hot with a take that's gonna make you question everything you've heard so far. He's saying Reese isn't just a victim. She might be playing us all. And let me tell you, his argument is pretty wild. So here's the deal. Whitlock thinks Reese is deflecting responsibility and chasing clout. He's calling her out big time, saying she's using this whole situation to keep herself in the spotlight. It's like he's flipping the script on us. You know what's really crazy? Whitlock's got a point that's gonna make you think. He straight up asked, "How do you unpack Caitlin Clark fans are the reason people are making AI pictures of me?" That's a pretty loaded question, right? It's like he's saying, "Come on, Reese, are you really blaming Clark's fans for this?" Whitlock's not stopping there. He's taking a hard look at Reese's social media game and how she presents herself. He's wondering if maybe, just maybe, Reese is stirring the pot herself. Is she feeding into this drama? Is she playing up this rivalry for more followers, more likes, more attention? Think about it. Every post, every comment, every interview, it's all part of an athlete's brand these days. Whitlock's saying Reese might be using this whole situation to build her brand. It's like she's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. But here's where it gets really interesting. Whitlock's not just talking about Reese. He's shining a light on this whole idea of playing the victim in sports. He's saying some athletes are using this tactic to dodge criticism and get people on their side. It's a bold claim, and it's got people talking. You've got to wonder though, is Whitlock onto something here? Or is he just stirring up more drama? It's not like Reese is the first athlete to deal with online harassment, but Whitlock's saying there's more to this story than meets the eye.
Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. It's their second time meeting. Call this season 2 analogy. It's Angel Reese, it's Monica McNutt, it's Stephen A. Smith.
Here's the thing. This isn't just about Reese and Clark anymore. It's about how athletes handle fame, how they deal with criticism, and how they build their brand. Whitlock's making us think about the relationship between an athlete's public image and how fans behave. It's like a whole new game off the court. Athletes are navigating social media, dealing with fans, and trying to control their image. And sometimes it backfires. Whitlock's saying Reese might be learning that lesson the hard way, but let's be real for a second. Even if Whitlock's right and Reese is playing this up for attention, does that make the harassment okay? That's the million-dollar question. It's got people debating all over social media. You know what's wild? This whole situation is shining a light on how complicated things get when you're a famous athlete. It's not just about what you do on the court anymore. Every tweet, every Instagram post, every interview, it all matters, and sometimes it can blow up in your face. You know what's wild? This whole Reese Clark drama is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a bigger game being played here, and it's reshaping how we view women's sports as a whole. It's not just about 2 players anymore, it's about the future of the entire WNBA. Let's talk about fame for a second. Whitlock dropped a bomb when he said, "A lot of people wouldn't know who the hell Angel Reese was without Caitlin Clark." That's harsh, but is he onto something? Think about it. How many WNBA players can you name off the top of your head? Reese and Clark are household names now, but why? It's all about the rivalry. These two have been going at it, and the media's been eating it up. But here's the thing. Is this good for women's basketball, or is it just creating drama? On one hand, it's getting people talking about the WNBA. On the other, is this the kind of attention the league really wants? Now let's get real for a second. Female athletes have it tough. They're under a microscope 24/7. Every move they make, on and off the court, gets analyzed to death. And don't even get me started on social media. It's like they can't win. If they're too nice, they're boring. If they show some attitude, they're divas. Reese is feeling the heat now. She's saying she's getting harassed, and that's not cool. But Whitlock's saying she's playing the victim. It's like a game of he said, she said, and we're all stuck in the middle trying to figure out what's really going on. Here's what's crazy. This whole situation is shining a light on how the media treats female athletes. One minute they're building you up, the next they're tearing you down. Reese was the darling of the basketball world not too long ago. Now, she's facing some serious scrutiny. But let's flip the script for a second. What if Reese is right? What if she is facing some serious harassment? That's not just a Reese problem or a Clark problem. That's a women's sports problem. It's making us all think about how we treat these athletes when they're not on the court. And you know what? It's not just about the fans, it's about the media too. How they cover these athletes, the stories they choose to tell. It all shapes how we see women's sports. Are we focusing too much on drama and not enough on the game itself?
And so you have this great battle going on between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Her team sent 2 assassins to kill the son. They're not handling Caitlin Clark like she's a prized possession.
This whole situation is like a pressure cooker. You've got the stress of being a pro athlete, the pressure of social media, and the expectation to be a role model all rolled into one. It's no wonder things are blowing up. So here's the million-dollar question. How do we fix this? Do we need stricter rules for fan behavior? Better media training for athletes? Or is this just the price of fame in the digital age? One thing's for sure, this Reese-Clark rivalry isn't going away anytime soon. But maybe, just maybe, it's forcing us to have some real conversations about women's sports, about how we treat female athletes, how we cover their stories, and what we expect from them. All right, let's break this down. The Whitlock-Reese clash is like a game of chess, with both sides making bold moves. Whitlock saying Reese is playing victim for attention, while Reese claims she's dealing with serious harassment. It's messy, and it's got everyone talking. But here's the real question. Are we, the fans, part of the problem or the solution? Think about it. How we treat these athletes, what we say online, how we react to rivalries, it all matters. We've got the power to shape the future of women's basketball for better or worse. This whole situation is a wake-up call. It's not just about Reese and Clark anymore. It's about how we view women's sports, how we treat female athletes, and what kind of environment we're creating for them. The ball's in our court now. What are we going to do with it?